Let's talk a little Ohio State recruiting because on Monday, a surprise commitment went down. Ohio State goes into SEC territory and beats LSU in Texas for the number 2 ranked safety in America, Blaine Bradford. So let's talk about it. Was this a surprise to you, Alex? Because it was a surprise to me.
Yeah, I mean, massive surprise, and I would say maybe even I was going to say some people inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center were surprised. Probably not after the weekend visit. I think that they probably had a strong indication that this might be coming, but I don't one came into the visit that Bradford and his family had this weekend and expected to come at it with him committed to Ohio State, especially this early in the process. So I would say anyone thought LSU was going to be the pick here. His brother Jacob enrolled at LSU as part of last year's signing class. He's from Pat. You can't get more LSU than that. So um, I would say, yeah, massive surprise. I knew Ohio State was in on this one, but I never really considered them um, a serious threat to land Bradford away from LSU. I didn't think anyone could. So this came out of nowhere and it really took everyone by surprise.
Yeah, and these elite type top 30, top 50 type prospects, I mean, normally the process is, hey, we're going to pare down our list of schools. We're going to put out a top 7, a top 5. We're going to list our official visits, and then we're going to set an obligatory commitment date sometime in the month of July, probably delay that a couple times, and then announce in front of the school on so here we are, and Blaine Bradford just commits on a Monday afternoon. What do you think it was? Was it something on the visit? Do you think he was heading into that visit intending to make that decision, or do you think they got him on the trip?
I think it's one of those things where everything on paper, right, is he was supposed to go to LSU. And I think that was kind of in his mind, but I think there was visits he took to Ohio State over the past year, last summer in the fall, where he just kind of felt like that was maybe the place for him. I didn't know this maybe coming into the visit or the commitment, but it seems like, just in the postmortem of this, he just kind of always felt like Ohio State felt right to him. The relationship with Tim Walton and Matt Guerrieri um, was top notch. I think meeting Matt Patricia this weekend maybe even sealed the deal for him. So I think coming into this visit, deep down, he kind of felt like that. And he was just there this weekend, hanging out with the players, being around the staff in kind of maybe a way that he never had, seeing how they're coaching them up in spring ball, just really getting connect with them on another level. And he just came away from the weekend saying, this is the place for me. I know it without a shred of doubt in my heart. And this is the best decision for me, as an individual, not who thinks I should go there, not because my brother goes to LSU, but Ohio State just is the best fit for me, when it comes to development, comfort, relationships, all the things across the board.
All right, now we see Ohio State inside the top 5. Ohio State fans, exciting times. Jump on board, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel, talking to Alex Gleitman of Letterman Row. And I'm assuming nothing's going to change on Ohio State's end, but number 1 safety Braylon Womack has been heavily involved with the Buckeyes. Do you think he's still interested with Blaine Bradford now on board?
Yeah, I mean, it was full steam ahead, I think, for both of these guys the whole way. There was no secret that they were recruiting both of them. They play a 3 safety system, so there's plenty of room for both of these guys to get on the field. And there's actually probably another 1 or 2 other top-notch safeties that they're going to go after as well. We'll talk about that in just a bit, I'm sure. But yeah, and nothing changes with Braylon Womack. They want to land both of those guys. And, I think the same way you saw Lathan Ransom, Caleb Downs, man, the defensive secondary for Ohio State last year at safety, along with Jordan Hancock, who kind of played that slot nickel safety position. I think that's kind of, how they're continuing to recruit all these safeties, elite safeties, while not, saying, oh, we got Bradford in, Womack, you probably won't want to come.
All right, let's dig into this big visit weekend a little further. Number 1 running back Savion Hiter was on campus. Do you think Ohio State made up ground here, namely on rival Michigan?
I think that they did. I think that Ohio State, this was a big visit for Ohio State.
Yeah.
The whole Hyder family was there. Travion Henderson was on campus. Ohio State had their pro day a few days before, so he was still on campus. He's a Virginia native, Savion Hiter is a Virginia native. Those two were able to talk for a good chunk of the practice and connect. And I'm sure that they talked about a number of things on multiple fronts about being an Ohio State running back and all the things that come with that. I think there's a great relationship with Carlos Lachlan and Tony Johnson, who's the assistant running backs coach. I think that the relationship with Ryan Day is great. It's really top notch across the board. I think the biggest question for Ohio State is going to be, is NIL the biggest factor in this recruitment? Because I am fairly confident that one of the other three finalists, if not more than them, are going to have a larger NIL package than Ohio State for Savion Hiter. It's going to be, is that the end all be all for him? Is he just taking the largest package? Or is it, hey, I know I'm going to do pretty well as an Ohio State running back, both in the guarantee and what my potential is. And I'm sure talking to Travion Henderson helped that. But I also feel like I have the connection with Carlos Lachlan. I like that the system that they run. I like the way that they develop running backs. They're going to have two guys drafted, probably both on day 2 this year, but definitely within, Thursday or Friday. Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson. They've had good backs there, obviously, throughout really their entire history. So does that stuff, come into effect, or is it simply just the most NIL? Because if it's the latter, I don't think he lands with Ohio State. If it's the former, I think Ohio State has more than a puncher's chance. I think they did a really good job this weekend.
Let's talk some quarterbacks. And Ohio State learned that they are not in the top 3 for Bo Bentley. So my question is, who is Ohio State now focused on at the quarterback position? Inside Scoop fans, listen up. Finding last-minute tickets to the biggest college basketball tournament can be a nightmare. So don't miss the excitement of your favorite team making the finals or a great story of a sleeper making a deep run into the tourney. See it all in person with the help of Game Time. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the big-time matchups. Game Time app is great. It's easy to use, and it works in any city with any team, and you get the best price guaranteed. Do not stress over getting into your favorite team's game anymore. There's only so many big games, and you need to get these tickets at the best prices. Game Time is the best place for last-minute ticket deals. I love the seat view function. It's so cool. You get to see a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy it. Now, here's what we're going to do. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ON3 for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use redeem code ON3, that's ON, the number 3, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute ticket deals, lowest price guarantee.
It's a great question, and one that we probably want to know too. Today, April 1st and then April 2nd, they'll have Derek Zammit from DePaul Catholic out here in New Jersey visiting. He doesn't have an offer yet. I would be somewhat surprised if he left campus without an offer. He's really only visiting places that he's offered and that he's really looking at. He's been talking to quarterbacks coach Billy Fessler. He's been talking to Coach Day a little bit. He's got teammates at Ohio State. Des Jones and Deshaun Stewart both signed with Ohio State in the class of 2025. So that's someone that I would definitely watch. He's highly ranked by On3, and I think, Alabama offered recently. So I know Alabama, Washington, Mississippi State, Syracuse, those are kind of the schools in it right now. I would watch Ohio State. The other one that's visiting, Steve Wilfong reported, was Jet Tamala from the state of Nebraska. He's kind of a new name on the radar. I think you'll probably start to see new names like this pop up. But he's visiting next week, April 8th. So it's interesting, Ohio State bringing in these guys that kind of really haven't been in the mix for an offer, as far as ending up in this class for the Buckeyes. And now you're starting to see these new names come out. I know they're still talking to Dia Bell in the hopes that they could flip him from Texas. Still talking to a few other names, but I think it's really tough. You have Brady Edmonds in the 2027 class committed. You had Tavian St. Clair signed and enrolled already from last year's class. So kind of being sandwiched between those guys. It's not that easy for Ohio State to kind of pull an elite guy, but I think that they're still feel like they could get a really good signal caller in this class. And maybe it's a name we're not even talking about.
Yeah, it's interesting to kind of see the quarterback board develop right before our eyes. I think with Jared Curtis coming off the board on May 5th, we could see those QB dominoes start to fall. And I think we'll probably know a little bit more on Ohio State's situation as we head into summer, probably have a more bona fide number 1 target on that quarterback board. All right, Any more interesting updates from what was another busy weekend in Columbus? Anything Ohio State fans need to know?
Yeah, I would say there's a couple things. I actually put a loaded notebook with scoop and intel on Letterman Row on Monday. But I think Ohio State made a really big move with three prospects that visited. Two offensive linemen, Evan Goodwin from the state of Arkansas. It was his first visit to Ohio State. He was the first prospect that new offensive line coach Tyler Bowen offered in the 2026 class when he got to Ohio State. I think they really moved the needle there. I wouldn't be surprised to see him shipped around his official visit schedule to add Ohio State to that list. And I think that they're going to have a really good chance at him moving forward. Drew Evers from Texas. I know a lot of people with the ties to Texas A&M have been saying Aggies all the way. I do think the Aggies are right up there, but I think Ohio State made a huge statement this weekend, getting him in front of their new offensive line staff. And really just showing him a side of Ohio State that he really hasn't seen. So I would have Ohio State, Texas A&M fighting for Drew, who's one of the best interior offensive linemen in the country. Safe being Caldwell. We talked about Braylon Womack. We talked about Blaine Bradford. People aren't talking enough about Simeon Caldwell and Ohio State. I think it's Ohio State, Notre Dame at the top. I think USC, Miami, they're in there as well. But I think Ohio State moved to the top with this visit. He told me that he's considering, instead of a post-official visit decision, maybe moving his decision up to sometime before the end of May. And I think that would be very favorable for Ohio State if that does indeed happen.
All right, Alex Gleitman from Letterman Row. Like you said, a really loaded insider. You guys go check that out right now. Ohio State fans, talk to us. How are you feeling? It feels like momentum's starting to build with this class, especially on the offensive line. Who do you guys think is the most important target moving forward? Let us know in the comment section below.